Hello all of you, Neetu Singh from Direction IAS. I have a very proud moment that I want to share with all of you. I have with me Yasharth Shekhar, All India 12th rank holder, and the feather in the cap, 306 aggregate score of geography with 150 and 156 marks in the two respective papers. We are very proud of his accomplishment, and we have him right here in front of us to share his experience, all his ups and downs in the strategy of geography optionals preparation, and finally cracking it with such flying colors. So without wasting any time, let us hear it from Yasharth himself, how he has approached geography and his preparation.
I think geography is not at all difficult. It's just that paper one is more conceptual. So if you've understood the concepts, you can do really well. Paper two is more on the applied side. So if you've understood the concepts well in paper one and you've been able to apply everything that is happening around you in India, so paper two you will be able to do well. I did well because I focused much on geography, and as a result of it, my score in general studies paper one was also very good. Apart from that, I think paper geography, any optional I think would require some sort of assistance, and I began my coaching in geography optional here at Direction IS, I think way back in 2018. After that, I built on my ma'am's notes, and for paper one, I specifically focus on reading notes, complementing them from those standard textbooks that are available, using video lectures and other things to complement my notes. But there are certain topics which are mentioned in the syllabus which is not covered by a lot of these books in a great manner, like channel morphology, denudation chronology, applied geomorphology. So I would suggest each one of you to go on the internet, search these topics, understand these topics, and if you can find some help from other standard books, you should incorporate them. My strategy was that I could not make notes from all these topics, so I used to simply clear out pages from the standard textbook and used to stick them to my notes. So by the end of it, I was able to cover almost every topic in paper one, geography, in terms of notes. I had notes for climatology, oceanography, biogeography, and geomorphology. I did not prepare any specific notes for environmental geography because I think that is more current based. So I remember at that point of time, climate change conference at Glasgow was happening, so that became more important. So keep on incorporating these things which are happening around you in the real world in your action paper. Apart from that, for human geography, I specifically did not study any one particular book. Primarily, I focused on the notes that ma'am helped me made. I complemented them with my own additions from here and there because this was my third attempt, so I had enough time to complement those notes. Apart from that, I included notes from the market, other things. So it was not a very standardized way of studying human geography. But at the end of it, since I could not clear in the second attempt, I decided to simply make one copy for every topic in human geography, whether it is population geography, and make sure that you cover every topic that is given in the syllabus. Because not at all, even if a question comes from outside the syllabus, it is going to be same for everyone. If the question is from inside the syllabus, then you will have to ace it. You will have to write good enough answers for you to be able to come to a very good, for you to get very good scores. After that, one copy for population geography, another copy for settlement geography, another copy for models and thoughts. So ma'am has helped me to make a copy of thoughts, and by the end of it, by incorporating examples from the internet and using R.D. Dixit's book, I was able to complement and make a very comprehensive set of notes, especially on thought. For models, I relied on ma'am sources for Malthus theory and other theories that there are in the syllabus. After that, you incorporate help from other books and other sources available on the internet to understand the models deeply, because now applications are being asked of these models rather than the model itself. So if you are not very clear with the concepts of models, you will not be able to explain their applicability to the real world. So again, on the whole, I would say paper one is very conceptual. So if you have, for example, if you have understood the concept of, let's say, landform development, revising it 10 times, is going to make you very perfect in answer writing. Apart from that, writing test becomes very important because I think I would have written more than 8 or 10 tests only on paper 1, and by the end of it, over the entire course of 3-4 years of my preparation, and by the end of it you become so adept at writing answers that you know what to write and what not to write, and how to summarize an entire universe of information in those 150 words or 250 words very efficiently, so as to give an impression to the examiner that you are writing well. Apart from that, incorporating examples, diagrams in paper 1, apart from incorporating elements from the current affairs newspapers, can bring added benefit or can bring added value to your answers, which will lead to your marks enhancement. In paper 2, ma'am had helped me to make notes. I simply complemented those notes by incorporating examples from the real world, using other current affairs manuals to simply complement your answers, and using Kuller's book to incorporate certain diagrams here and there if you find that those diagrams are missing. So apart from that, by the end of it, for every topic, whether it is, I think, whether it was physical geography or the contemporary issues, I had one small copy, and I had incorporated all the examples from them. I think if you are able to apply what is happening around you in the real world to your papers, you would be able to do wonders in your paper 2. For example, there was this question on industrial corridor. So you have to give example of the recent industrial corridor being built in India. For example, the defense industrial corridor. You give an example of that. So that will be an added value to your answer. Also, one thing that I specifically focused on in paper 2 Indian geography was the regional approach. If I could give an example, there was a question on bring out the distribution of different varieties of coal, and you don't have to draw a diagram of India to show where are the different varieties of coal formed. So I drew a diagram of Jharkhand, separate diagram of Chhattisgarh, a separate diagram of West Bengal to show, okay, these are the different sites in these different states where coal is found. For example, in case of Gujarat, to show the distribution of lignite reserves, I showed a place called Umarsar. Again, in case of Tamil Nadu, I showed the place called Neyveli. Now, in case of Gondwana coal, you can show examples of other like the mines in Chhattisgarh, like Korba coal mine. So, by doing this, you will be able to bring very regional aspect to your answers. Another aspect that can help you get more marks in your paper 2 Indian geography is using case studies. I'll give you two examples. In the question on interlinking of rivers, I was able to give a very proper case study of Ken-Betwa river link. And by case study, I did not mean you simply have to draw two rivers, connecting them together and showing that this is the interlinking of rivers. You have to show the different regional places which are located there. For example, in this diagram, you will have to show the Panna Tiger Reserve, and then you have to show there is a dam called Dodhan Dam, Lower Ore Dam. There are cities called Chhatarpur or Khajrao, Panna, Betwa, Panna, Satna, Rewa. So this will bring a very regional perspective to your diagram, and this will help you get more marks. Similarly, in the question on industrial corridor, draw a diagram, draw a diagram of only the West India and show Mumbai, Delhi industrial corridor, and draw places which are located on those particular industrial corridors. For example, Marwar Junction, Palanpur, Vadodara. So this will bring a very case study. This case study point of view will give your examiner a perception that you know very much about those particular areas of geography, and you will be able to get more marks. Apart from that, I think reading newspapers very well becomes very important, both for paper 1 and paper 2, but I think specifically it becomes very important for paper 2 because almost everything that we read in the newspapers is some way connected to one or the other topic to Indian geography. For example, there were interstate disputes over Belgaum between Maharashtra and Karnataka, and this time there was a question on I think critically analyze the interstate border disputes of India. So you can incorporate those examples. You can draw the diagram of and only the diagram of Maharashtra and Karnataka with Belgaum in between. To bring not only to incorporate current affairs in your answers, but at the same time to be able to bring the regional approach to your answers. So I think these are all the things that you can do. Again, paper 1 more conceptual, paper 2 more applied, but application has to be very specific and not very general and regional, along with case studies to be incorporated in your answers. But this will all come with writing as many tests as possible. I have written many tests to bring that approach. This will not come all of a sudden in the real exam. You'll have to practice beforehand, and if you're able to write at least 10 tests, I think both for paper 1 and paper 2, you will do excellently well. So I think in short, I think this was my strategy for both paper 1 and paper 2, which really helped me get very good marks.
If I just interrupt in between, there are two things, Yasharth. One is about notes making and two is about answer writing. So answer writing as test, answer writing as a regular assignment, because when you begin with the preparation, you are not prepared with all the topics. You start somewhere. Topic 1, topic 2, topic 10, whatsoever you are starting with. So you are not having a complete perspective about the syllabus. So can the writing skill be synonymous to writing assignments also, rather than absolutely going on to the test? Or second thing, is self-notes making important? Because that is the question. Let us hear from you. You have scored very well in geography. Has it been with importance of notes making by yourself significant?
I think when it comes to note making, I think personal note making is very important. You cannot simply depend on one set of notes that are given to you and you mug it up and then you expect all the questions to come from there. Right? You'll have to make yourself notes and to do that, you'll have to analyze the past year question papers to realize what kind of questions are being asked. Are they being covered in class or are they being covered through notes? But at the end of all of it, self notes will come to your rescue, because then you are making it with the perspective of going for examination. When it comes to writing test, I believe that I personally did not believe in writing sectional test, ma'am. So I mean, I would go for test, but those will be 3 hours test. So as to create a very exactly the kind of environment that you would face in the real examination. So even if you have covered, let's say, climatology, give a 3-hour test on climatology rather than doing 1 question, 2 questions, because writing answers in an unpressured environment is a different thing, but writing answer within a 7-minute limit or an 11-minute limit is a different ball game altogether. So I think my success to a certain great extent has come from writing test in a stipulated time period. So even if my time was over and I was left with 2-3 questions, I would analyze as to why I was not able to finish these questions. And it rarely happened that I could not finish the question paper, because for me time was set. I would give around 7.5 minutes for 10 markers, and I think 10 to 11 minutes for 20 markers and 15 markers. And if I was not able to complete the question within the specified time period, I would move on to the next question.
And what is your take when it comes to a topic done? Like you said, you have completed climatology, attempt answer on climatology, but let it be 3 hours. But is it correct for me to say that learning climatology and writing answer on climatology versus learning complete syllabus and then writing answer on climatology makes a difference, because you develop a complete geographical perspective to it?
Yes, but it will come, that complete geographical perspective will come, as you complete your syllabus slowly and slowly. But for the moment when you have completed your climatology, it's better to give the test, because writing test will tell you a lot of things about yourself. Sometimes we think we do not know a thing, but when we are writing test, that thing will come into your answer writing, and then you will realize, okay, we knew this. So you can slowly, okay, when you are writing more and more tests, you can build your foundation, you can write better answers. But I begin that once you finish the topic, you should go for answer writing. And I also suggest that even if a topic is suggested to be given as test and you are not able to complete the syllabus, even then give the test on time, because this is a tendency amongst us that we will postpone the test. Let's complete the syllabus, let's revise it at least 2-3 times, and then we will give the test. Now this is a wrong thing. Once test is scheduled, you have to give the test.
This is what I wanted to hear from you, because whenever we are taking regular classes, like you have been a classroom student, you know that after every topic we used to have the test, and it was like, we are not prepared, we'll be prepared later. So I always used to say that preparation and writing is part and parcel of each other. You cannot think that you can complete syllabus and then you can write. Okay, so we can take a crux of your success as, of course, sincerity, dedication. He has cracked it in his 3rd attempt. He has been a very good example of a consistent player, and notes making, updation, and your self-perception, I think, is very important. And the key to success is writing in the pressure of that examination time-bound manner. And for 10 marker, you said 7.5 minutes.
I think 7.5 minutes. So if my trick used to be that I would complete the 10 markers first, both part A and part B. And I used to complete them, I think, within I think 40-45 minutes. But my system used to be that I would give half an hour for every 50 marker, the optional 50 markers. So
the compulsory
part, and after that come to the 50 markers. That was my strategy. Because I thought that once you are done with the 10 markers, you'll have enough space to explore, write your answers. Otherwise, shifting from 10 markers to again 20 markers, 15 markers, and then coming back to the 10 markers, it will create another psychological stress in your mind. So complete those 10 markers and then come to the 15 and 20 markers. That used to be my strategy.
Thank you so much, Yasharth. I think this is going to give all of us a new perspective to our preparation, and hearing it from a very good scorer in geography, I think is credible. We are very proud of your achievement, Yasharth. Thank you so much for giving your time. Bye-bye.